welcome to another FaceHAMMER show. It's double drop book review time.
Again, as it always is. Yeah.
Love that double D, the double drop.
Ideally, they wouldn't have one of them quite as thick as the Slaves to Darkness involved, but we've got the slimmer of the two.
Which ironic, considering it's the fatties. My people.
It is.
So
slim.
Thanks, Games Workshop, as usual. We appreciate it.
We got these in a timely fashion as well, these ones.
Exactly. Yeah, it allows us to deliver some hammer to your face. So if you're new, welcome. And we're going to talk about all the rules, the match play stuff, our thoughts, our initial reaction, talk about matched play lists or content from the book, things we like, things we don't, initial first impressions, and we'll go through the rules because that's what we do.
It is what we do. Obviously, this book's already existed for a bit, so we're going to concentrate mostly on stuff that has changed. We will, of course, go briefly through pretty much everything, but if something is pretty much the same as it was in the last version, we're going to be spending more time on the bits that have changed and going to change how you play the army or how it behaves on the table.
Yeah, and I feel like I didn't really play the last book much, although I did play an event or two with it. But yeah, but this is the new Ogor Mawtribes book.
Yeah, probably safe to say that they've kind of fallen into two types of list, being lots of monsters, the most popular for obvious reasons, cheaper, faster to paint, less models, and then I don't think they were bad, but the actual ogres themselves, they're probably less simple to play or less narrow.
I don't think you saw many pure glutton lists, and I think
no, or even mixed ones.
Like it was mostly Beastclaw Raiders, from the old days, and then it became this weird Beastclaw Kragnos giant list, which wasn't really an ogre army, but it was kind of just destruction big things.
Possible. Yeah, which is quite a lot of destruction, isn't it? Like Kragnos fits into anything smashy bashy destruction. He just drops in place of 700 points worth of other stuff, which is great.
Just fixes all the problems by smashing it over the head with a big hammer, which is destruction for you.
He is the most appropriately written and pointed god, so I am down.
We'll talk about Nagash. Snoga show. Right, more tribes. Subfactions, we'll go through those later when we come to them. You basically get to pick one. It's the same as every other book. They've got the Ravenous Brutes move, so if a friendly Ogor Mawtribes Ogre unit, so Ogor Mawtribes Ogre, so there's a keyword there, is more than 3 from all enemy units, it is hungry. If it's within 3 inches, it's eating. So you get to add 2 to your move, or add 2 to your bravery if it's eating. So basically, get there quicker. When you're there, you're braver. So
I'm a real fan of that. It's just clean, isn't it? Like, you know exactly what's going at any point, and it does make a difference to how the army plays.
Yeah, and then you've got the Gulping Bites. So end of the combat phase, roll a dice for each enemy unit within 3 inches of friendly Gutbuster Ogre units. On a 4+, they take D3 mortal wounds. So just standard. I think that's... they've still got the charge, right? Yeah.
They have to have trampling charge, yes.
Yeah. So they got Might Makes Right, which is their objective capture. So each friendly Mawtribes Ogre counts as 2. The hero that's not a monster counts as 5, and monsters count as 10. So that's the same. That's like your extra capture power.
It adds up a lot. If you've not played with it or against it, it is probably one of the most significant parts of the book in terms of their viability on the table.
It's like the babyier version of Mightier Makes Rightier, which is kind of ironic.
Just 3 letters is giving them a little bit less.
So trampling charge, after a friendly Ogre or Rhinox unit makes a charge, pick 1 enemy unit within 1 inch, roll a number of dice equal to the unmodified charge roll, add 1 to each roll. If the charging unit is an Ogre unit, it has 3 or more models, add 2 if it's a monster. For every 6 up, they take a mortal wound. So pretty good, especially with Kragnos, because you get a 3d6 charge. So which you could argue is a modifier, but it's not. But there you go.
Yeah, I was just going to go into the nerdy technicalities of that.
Just assume it's right. It's fine. Yeah. This is what makes Kragnos so good in August, right? You got Grasp.
You also don't want to get shot at on the way to someone. But you're like, you don't want to get shot at on the way with ogres. Like, they're pretty tough, but they're not crazy resilient, and they're better once they're in combat. So getting there sooner with all of these rules added together and possibly Kragnos on top is not a bad idea.
You want to be charging, right? That's the key.
Absolutely. Yeah. Big swing if not.
Grasp of the Everwinter. At the start of your hero phase, roll a dice for each enemy inventory of a Beast Claw Raiders unit. If it's equal to or less than the number of the battle round, they take D3 mortal wounds. So
both of the types have got their own kind of like mortal wound output.
It's a bit of a weird timing, start of your hero phase.
Always feels a bit delayed, doesn't it?
Well, the worst thing is if you charge them in your go, it's now their go. Then by the end of their go, they're going to be in combat. I don't know. Like it's
I mean,
you might
it's not
double
like
someone, but
it's not like those things struggle to wipe stuff out either, is it?
it's a very forgetful rule that I think you just forget to even do it. You know, but hey ho, they've got a bit of extra damage, so maybe. So this is new, monsters rampages. So you get 2 new ones. So you've got one for a Stonehorn. So only a Stonehorn that made a charge move in the same phase can carry it out. So you make a 3d6 move, can pass across enemy units as if it can fly, and can finish the move within 3 of any enemy units. Roll a dice for each unit passed across on the 2+ takes D3 mortal wounds. That seems kind of nuts, right? Because you could charge someone and then like go, there's no dice roll, you just do it. Now you're going to make a 3d6 move, fly over into their back lines and hit something you actually want to fight, and then do mortals on the way through.
On a 2+.
Yeah, you can literally like leapfrog.
Each unit, not a unit, each unit.
Seems a bit good.
Seems a bit not probability based as well. Yeah.
Because I assume you'd still get to do your, because you don't even have to be within range of an enemy when you do it. So you could charge something and do your impact hits.
Kill it.
Then you could make this move. You wouldn't impact it to the new unit, but you could do more damage on the way over and then fight the
multiple units.
So that's really good. Like,
I mean, that is like, let's put
at least you only do one a turn, right? If you could do all of them, that'd be crazy.
I was going to say that, but let's put that in the context of how much movement that could add up to. Like, they're not slow anyway. You could have Kragnos about. You could get into something with a long charge, and then you could be like, that's probably like 40 inches of movement in one go in terms of table positioning that you could teleport over.
Do you think that's like the kind of the destruction feel with things like the Maw Crusher and that?
I feel like you should be hitting the front though, not like hitting the front and then going like and appearing at the back. I mean, that's great for getting next to someone's faction terrain, their wizards. Like, okay, well, let's see if the other one is that good. I doubt that it will be.
No, it's pretty good.
Okay, let's go. So for Thunder Tusks.
So roll a dice for every enemy unit within 1 inch. On a 3+, they strike last.
I mean, that's great.
I mean,
so you're going to be doing one of these and one of those and a raw if you've got 3 monsters, like, and they fit every time. Wow.
Big buff that.
It's huge. It's also a really good. Either of those works extremely well if you just have one of these monsters in a mixed list, right? Like that's some amazing utility. You don't have to have lots of monsters to capitalize on that. Like being in someone's back lines is annoying and great if you've got like slightly slower fatties running towards their front lines. And equally, if you've got one of these in the middle and then you're affecting a couple of units, just 2 units on a 3+, like, yeah, great. Okay. Well, it's already a very big buff, and we've read 2 rules that are new, basically, haven't we?
It's going to be difficult to defend against that Stonehorn because the thing is, I think it's meant to emanate them charging through things, but you can do that over monsters and stuff, so it's a bit weird.
Yeah,
like I don't know.
I feel that's too strong.
That might be fact at some point.
That's breaking core principles of the game. I think obviously you can avoid people getting into backlines by not leaving a monster-shaped hole. But
it's quite a small base. It's only a chariot base. It's it's not like it's a Maw Crusher base. It's like that. It's like
exactly what I was going to say. Isn't it like a 110 by 90 or something like that?
120 by 90, I think they are.
It's not huge.
Well, it's like I think it's that. I think it's 120 by 90. It's the chariot base, the sort of the old fat
the chubby
chariot one. Yeah, not the slim one. because it wouldn't be appropriate to be on a slim base with it. So.
No, but they're on one of the smaller spaces for their damage output
Yeah.
in the game, I would say. So
yeah, I mean, like the base size for the output, the model overhangs the base like a lot.
A lot.
So and I've got a Beast Claw army with like 4 of them in it, so it's it's kind of crazy. So command traits, so Gutbusters only, which I guess is like the standard, like non Stonehorn Thundertusk stuff. Basically, it's not that, it's like the Gutbuster stuff. So you've got the Reluctant Rabble Rouser. Don't make battleshot tests for Noblar units. Don't care.
Maybe they'll feature in this book. They barely
I hope
have
not.
ever.
I hate the models.
Before.
I hate the idea of them. Just don't even take them. Gastromancer, Butcher only, like the name. Knows all the spells. Pretty good.
Cool. Yeah. Well, we'll see how good the lore is, but in theory, good.
Yeah. Deadly Aim, so a Blood Pelt Hunter only, which is the new model, which I have mixed feelings about.
I don't have any mixed feelings about it. It looks like it's come straight from 1990. I don't know what they resurrected to make that model, but it's disappointing.
I was shocking to see that it actually has different rules to the normal hunter. So it's not just a hunter; it's like a new type of hunter. So there's still the old one's still there. It's just
looks like they forgot CAD exists.
Yeah. Anyway, the hit characteristic missile weapons is 2+ instead of 4+. Knowing it's probably going to be amazing, right? Because like they want everyone to buy it. So not that they do that. You've got Killer Rep, Tyrant only. Before it's set up, pick an additional big name. The big name cannot be the same as their other big name. I guess that's probably going to be on the War Scroll, right? Because we haven't read that.
Coming up, I guess.
So let's have a quick look. Oh yeah, big name. When they pick it to be your army, pick one of the big names. So yeah, there you go. We'll get onto that when we talk about the War Scrolls. But yeah, so
multiple rules, hardly ever good. Bad, sorry, is it?
No. Ex-mercenary. Friendly man-eater units have the Battleline battlefield roll. It's weird as a trait, isn't it? In addition, at the start of your hero phase, roll a dice for each man-eater unit that is eating. For each 3+, get a command point.
Well, depending on how that scroll is, that sounds like the most. I mean, that's changing a lot.
Just unfortunately, they're still the same old resin models. So I think you at like £1 billion each. I think
you can always convert some.
Yeah,
but,
you'd have to.
Yeah, I mean, just getting a free CP for each of those units. I'm not sure how many things you're going to have that you could do with them in combat specifically. Depends on the other people's CPs within range, but free CPs and making something Battleline quite big.
Then we've got the Beast Claw Raiders. So Voice of the Avalanche can issue commands to friendly units on the battlefield instead of within 18. Once per battle, can issue a command point without spending a command point. So
fairly efficient.
Yeah, I'm not sure the range ever matters in Age of Sigmar. I can't remember the last time someone actually went, "Oh, you're not in range to do the command ability."
Particularly with your great big Grumple Tusk.
Yeah, because most units
you're going to be
like,
here.
Yeah, it's huge, right? So
the ones here maybe you don't care about. I mean, it could come in.
Maybe
free CP.
Maybe if your Stonehorn's like launched itself into the back of their army, then maybe.
Well, yeah. To be fair, if you've launched to a flank, then you can issue it to someone back here. Potentially, yeah.
You've got Beastmaster, which allows them to fight at the top row, which is solid, right?
It is solid, yeah.
Got Touched by Everwinter. Has the priest keyword. There we go. If it's already a priest, they know all the prayers from the Everwinter prayers scripture in addition to other prayers they know. So
that sounds good.
I think that's going to be used quite a bit. Then you've got the Skull Packmaster. Icebrow Hunter only. When you use this Master of Ambush, set up 3 Frost Sabers that can join the general in ambush instead of 1.
Couple of free models.
Yeah.
I mean, any point in this book where you're taking a less wounds, less resilient, less movement, less damage, foot dude instead of a great big Grumple thing, you've got to have quite a good reason to use it. Making man-eaters Battleline might be one of those. Getting some free dudes might be one of those.
I'm not sure you get them for free because it says set up to 3 can join him. I don't think you get them.
Oh, so you've paid. You're not getting 2 free dudes.
Well, unless he set it's like the Stormcast hero and you
Unless it
set it up
comes
when
with
you
him.
set him up. But I think you probably got to buy them as a unit, right?
Yeah, you're probably right there.
Lots of.
I have lost a game to skirmishing, flanking saber tusks by 1 point in the past.
Yeah. So yeah, it just allows you to ambush multiple units. So I don't think it's really worth. You know.
Okay, yeah. Slightly more impactful. I mean, you could have some stuff to do with your battle tactics or whatever, where that's more useful, and they're very cheap, or they used to be very cheap.
Yeah, we'll see when we get to it, but I'm not sure. These command traits don't seem very exciting, if I'm honest.
Wait, I don't understand. Frost sabers, you buy them in 2s.
Yeah.
How do you add 3?
That's 3 units.
Oh, okay then. So 6,
like you would
6 kitty cats,
or could be more because you could reinforce the units. So.
Yeah.
Okay. I think can they still be battle line if you've got a Hellsprout Hunter general?
Niche. Yes, they can be battle line.
Because that was always the thing, wasn't it? So
that was the reason.
But yeah, I still don't think you're taking that. I don't think he's going to be a general unless you want to make them battle line because you're trying to get cheap battle line, which you might do because you might be like, actually, I want to take those 3 units to have like Kragnos, Giant, and Thing. So
yeah,
but would you want to ambush them? Probably not. And then you've got to be a big reason not to take the priest on your Frostlord on Stonehorn or something equally better.
Well, yeah, the priest being that easy to get in feels like a really nice way to not pay for a wizard.
Then give him the Arcane Tome. He's best of both, mate. He's like Hovis. Yeah. He's the Hovis guy.
That's
a brand
and
of
it's not
bread.
It's not restricted either.
Yeah. So brand of bread in the UK where you get it's white and brown bread combined. Apparently, it's called best of both. So
all the benefits of everything and twice the chemicals.
Yeah, all the preservatives. So artifacts. So we got plunder of the gut hold, or glut hold, I should say. Yeah, I don't want a gut hold. So these are gut busters only. You've got gruesome trophy rack. Add 1 to hit rolls by gut bust units holding within 12 that target a monster or hero. Pretty good.
It's fairly solid, yeah. If he's going to be up there where your damage is going to be.
Free up ward, next one. Once per battle.
I mean, that's great. We've seen that on the Fire Slayer hero. It's incredible. Obviously slightly better if you're on a great big dragon.
Yeah.
But still very good.
I'm just hoping the Frostlord's got a free up ward now.
So I'm hoping it hasn't. We've had like I really like that this is no longer the book of contention and brokenness in the game. It's in a solid place. It's been a solid place for a while.
They should have called it Battle Brew just to troll everyone.
No, we don't know. No harking back to that. We want balance, please.
I wonder if the Alvgar beast tokens are still there. Anyway, Splatter Cleaver. Pick one of the bearer's melee weapons. At the end of the combat phase, if any wounds caused by the weapon were allocated to an enemy unit, heal D3 to each Ogre unit holding in 12. That's all right. I've seen that used before to heal stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna allocate some wounds with one of these guys. They're not a soft touch in combat.
Or you can get render free on his beast skewer glaive.
Is that a 1? Pretty good.
I mean, rend free's good.
I remember little solo tyrants running around being extremely annoying for their points at one point in like 4 years ago, I guess.
Yeah, I think the interest would be is are gut busters viable with this book, or is it still going to be Stonehorns? And like, I think there needs to be a lot to skew that the other way. Right?
Well, the thing is, you've got to weigh it up versus how much people want to just put 4 elephants on the table and play a simple game as well, right? Regardless of the rules or how their power level is or anything like.
Oh no, aesthetics and affordability and painting time that doesn't come into any of army list building at all, does it? It's just about what's the most efficient. That's how we look at uptake, and then we'll adjust the points accordingly.
Only if you're playing it digitally.
Yeah. So then you've got the Beast Claw Raider ones. Elixir of the Frostworm. In your shooting phase, pick an unit within 6. Roll a dice on 2+ to hit D6 mortal wounds. No. Doesn't excite me.
Not like you're low on sources of D6 mortal wounds if you've got those guys anyway.
But... Well, I don't know, because they might have changed that. So We don't know
Guess
that.
we'll see.
Because I don't think it was mortals in the last book. That's why you never saw them.
Okay.
There's the book before they used to do mortals. They were talking about the Thunder Tusks, but Frost Talon Shard Bolts and Icebarrel Hunter only. The modified hit roll for an attack by his crossbow is a 6. It's D3 mortal wounds in addition. Sure. I'm not sure that's useful.
No, that may as well not exist.
Then you've got Caravelok's Flank. Friendly Yeti units wholly within 12 of the bearer can move an extra 2 and they make a normal move during that phase.
It's kind of like the ogre rule.
Yeah, but I don't think Yetis get that because they're not a Ogor.
Exactly.
So it's
They
just
got
like
their own equivalent.
Yeah. I wonder if they still got the 6-inch pile in, which is the thing that was good about them. See the Alvagur, whatever you say that. Once per battle in the charge phase, carry out a second monstrous rampage. Cannot be a monstrous rampage you've always carried out. So that's solid, right? Because
it's solid, but it depends how many you've got, because you might have exhausted useful ones and be scraping the bottom of the barrel with it.
Quite good to be able to like leapfrog into a unit and then roll that unit, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think the less monsters you have, the more that goes up in value.
Mm-hmm. And it depends, like, if they start adding more in handbooks and stuff like they have in the past. Yeah, so pretty underwhelming these. I think I don't think they're that exciting.
There seems to be like 2 clear choices out of each, and then also 2 that are like the Icebrow Hunter one. Like if you do something on a 6, that's already a 1 in 6 chance.
Yeah, and it's on that one model.
Attack.
And then how often are you actually going to get to shoot?
Yeah, and then it's D3 in addition. Like absolute meh division.
Yeah.
But there's a few really solid ones. I mean, should we recap it? Priest, incredible. If making man-eaters do stuff is your thing and getting CPs is your thing, that one would be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Free up ward, like that's useful if you're going with one of those. But
I think the +1 to hit's good in the right circumstance.
Yes, there's like 2 per block that are absolutely ahead of the others, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing there exciting, in my opinion.
No.
I guess you're just going to be putting Manticore Venom on and just going, that's what I have to wound on twos.
I guess we'll get to see how good being a Gastromancer is right now, because we'll see if the law's any good.
Normally it's pretty solid, you just don't see butchers.
Yeah.
So you've got Blood Feast, 7, range of 18. Pick an Ogre unit that is not a monster. Add 1 to the attacks of its melee weapons. 7's a bit of a weird number because it's not very reliable.
No, depends if there's pluses available anywhere or on scrolls or anything. But it's quite a powerful buff on a decently sized unit with good reach.
Well, it's a force multiplier, isn't it? The more models in the unit, with the if you've got like a unit of Iron Guts, that's a big unit, like 6 of them.
Especially in the current edition, right? You
could
be +1 attack, +1 damage.
Yeah. And I think the normal Ogres are in 6s and their battle line, so you could actually have 18 of them in a unit. So
that's like a triple multiplier, isn't it? More of them getting to attack because of silly current rules, getting a buff against other things because of current rules, and then getting a buff. So like +1 damage, more of them fighting, and +1 attack. Yeah. Big buff.
Then you've got the Blubber Grub Stench. A spell on a 5, range of 18. Until the start of your next hero phase, while they are within range, Rhinox units are treated as monsters for the purpose of the trampling charge trait, contesting objectives and carrying out rampages. So
is the cannon a Rhinox?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, it is. Okay.
The I think the what's it called? Not Lead Belcher, not Iron Blaster. That's it. They used to be in every list, 2 of them.
Yep.
Back in Old Hammer.
Yeah, then they kind of.
I think they'll come back now. They're very good. Then you've got Molten Entrails. Cast on 6, range of 18. Pick a friendly Ogor Mawtribes monster. To the start of your hero phase, add 1 damage to the melee weapons used by that monster's mount. Amazing.
That's just great. It's a 6. That's a very big difference as well.
And it's this is going to make you put a butcher into your normal Beast Claw army because it's an Ogor Mawtribes monster. It's not keyworded to Gutbuster or anything.
Yeah.
So, Greasy Deluge, great names on these. On a 6, range of 18, pick one enemy unit, subtract 1 from hit rolls.
Great.
All pretty good spells.
I think disregarding the 7 because it's less widely applicable and it's a 7. Like the knowing all spells one is worth it. Definitely, as a trait if you were going to lean in that direction. I guess you've only got one cast, haven't you? Probably. So
the Slaughter Priest might have multiple, but we'll see.
Firebelly.
Law of the Sun Eater. Forget about these models that they even exist, right?
Yeah, they used to be again.
They need like a unit of them that like throw fireballs or breathe fire or something.
Yeah,
That'd be
it's
cool.
just like a one anomaly, isn't
dude,
it? Like,
It's
suddenly
like,
there's this one guy who would fit in Fire Slayers.
it's the one guy who ordered the Vindaloo on the delivery the night before, rather than 5 guys or something, you know. So
let's hope he didn't do me and order it a few times by accident while I was drunk.
Yeah, but that was a vegan salad, so I don't know if it's going to help with his fire breath. So yeah, so we got Fiery Whirlwind on a 6, range of 12, pick an enemy unit. It's quite a short range for that. Roll a dice for each model in the unit within range and visible. Then you 4+ mortal wound.
Because it's not the unit has to be within 12, but each model you do has to be within 12 as well.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're next to them, that's really good.
Fire breath.
You know that's a lot of damage on it because it's a 4-up, so it's not a 5-up. There's some of the 6s, some of 5s. Yeah, the short range, but maybe it's a portal spell. You know, spell portal through that could, depending on what's around in the meta. There is extra in there about rolling 3 dice instead of 1 for a single model, but I just glazed over it because, yeah, who cares?
Yep.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Very matchup dependent. Like, I don't think you're worried about
so situational, isn't it? Yeah.
This army's ability to wipe through hordes, I don't think is in question too much.
No.
But it's not bad.
Yeah. Billowing Ash. Cast on a 6, range 12 against 12-inch short range. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks that target friendly units while they're wholly within range of the caster. So that's actually quite good because that's shooting as well. So you just have them central
for it,
and then it just depends because like, it's not up at the beginning of the game, right? So if they're shooting you, you don't have the buff up. If you go first, are you still going to have your army in a bubble with the -1?
I quite like the idea that you're just casting it around yourself and then you're billowing and then you just leg it into someone. Yeah. I mean, that's controllable, right? They can't, if you do that in your turn, they can't stop you from getting there. You just hope you don't die.
Well, it's your units that have in 12 get the -1, so you want to kind of move your army up in a protective cloud. So
just assume that he's going to be running up to catch up.
Yeah, so like it might be useful against a very heavy shooting army, but subtract 1 to hit, you can counter it with all out attack, and then like a lot of stuff does the damage on a 6 to hit, do mortals and stuff like that. So is it really that, you know, Skyfires ignore it? You know, is it that big a deal?
I mean,
I don't know.
If you imagine like a 6 block of ogres and then a 12 block of ogres and a 12 block of ogres, and him just running up the middle, surviving because not enough people can contact him, and then, you know, the people hitting the units either side are debuffed, that is going to do work.
And I mean, it's good for melee as well because it does work for melee. So I mean, it is a very good a strong spell. I think if you're playing any sort of gut-based combat army, then it's going to be a staple. I mean, it's a nice one to hit flat across your army if you cast it. Which is
he's 130 points. I guess we'll get to his scroll in a bit.
Quite cheap.
Not too much. Yeah.
So
survivable wizard.
Tongues of Flame on a 6. Pick one enemy unit that's 5 or more models until the start of your next hero phase. Each time it moves, it takes D3 mortal wounds. Interesting.
Yeah. It's all right.
Well, that's a move to run. Like a move, a charge, a pile in. They're all moves, right? So
it is range 18 as well, I guess. So you can. This is way more techy than the others, right? You're not just like that's better or that's worse. Or I heard that.
I think you're going to take Billowing Ash out the 3 because it's always good. Like The other two are a
Its
bit
range doesn't matter nearly
situational.
as much.
Its range doesn't matter because it's buffing you, so you can play around that. Yeah,
I mean, imagine the scenario where you're playing an army that you don't want to play because it's one of your bad matchups because it's got shooting. They give you first, and you just sit there and you're like,
yeah, but then you're like Stonehorn can like fly across the table in a turn probably. So.
oh, but I just meant like your
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
your backfield is.
yeah.
Like if you're worried about your opponent picking off little characters or something like that, or your blob even moves up the table, you still that's got a lot of utility passed on a 6 if your opponent gives you first.
It's also quite good if they set up quite far back and you make them go first, and then they kind of blob around and you run up to the middle of the table and hope for the double, because if you don't get the double, at least you've got a defensive buff on.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. Until next hero phase, for sure. I really like that. I think that's a good spell.
yeah, Billowing Ash is the win there, I think.
Anything with Ash in the name has always done basically the same thing and been really good.
Yeah.
Hasn't it?
There'll be someone now go, actually, if you remember this spell, and we're like, yeah, okay.
I remember a horrible, it's like Curse of
Was
Ash.
it Ash Storm was the
Chaos Dwarves.
Chaos Dwarf one, and it was just amazing.
Oh, that's grim, yeah.
Everwinter Prayers, so you've got the Beastclaw Raiders, Priest only. You've got a Pulverizing Hailstorm, answer on a free, range of 18, pick a point at the battlefield, roll a dice for each unit within 3 inches on 2+ D3 mortal wounds. That's pretty good.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, little spike.
It's not that, like 6 inches across isn't that little.
No, that's what I tell her all the time.
Across?
Yeah.
It isn't.
It's just the angle. No. So yeah, but I mean, it's nice because you can hit multiple units. If you've got other ways to do mortals at range with like blood vultures and things like that, you could pick off heroes, and there's no minuses to hit. It's just on a 2-up. So
you tell your opponent you have this, and they have to deploy differently. Like always
Deepkin
good.
won't like it.
You're always getting value.
Not that you'll see them
in 6 months' time.
Yeah, at some point they'll come back out the water.
Do remember, guys, as well, you can have this on your Beastclaw Raiders heroes if you've taken touch by Everwinter. So these aren't just for your natural priests.
Show me where Everwinter touched you, and that's your prayer you get. So then you've got the Keening Gale. Outs on a free, range of 18. Pick one monster or Mournfang pack. Add 3 inches to their move. I mean, great. Movement, light movement.
They know all the prayers if you give them touch by Everwinter.
Yeah, if you've
nice.
Yeah. Call of the Blizzard. So answer value of 3. You stop playing Warhammer, you install World of Warcraft, and sorry, no, that's a different spell. On a pick one unit of Icefall Yetis or Frost Sabers. Return a slain model. Interesting.
I mean, all 3 of those are great. They're really good.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about the Call of the Blizzard, but
well, if you're taking that, if you're taking one unit of them, like, yeah, basically that's great if you didn't select that one and you're getting it for free as an option.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Still not sure about that, but yeah, the other 2 are great. So
depends on the points. Yes, I guess.
Mount traits. That's what we want. Metal Cruncher. It's going to be trash now, right? So pick one enemy war machine within 3 inches, or one enemy unit with a save of 3+, 2+, or 1+. Takes D6 mortal wounds. So how many units have a 3-up armor save base? I don't think it's going to come into play very often. It used to be just D6 mortals pretty much against everything.
The aggressive,
I think it was a 4-up before, right?
Comes into play. How unexpected.
Belligerent Charger. Charge rolls of less than 7 are treated as 7 for the battle trait with the impact hits. And the one that you're going to take, the Rockmane Elder. Subtract 1 wound rolls for attacks that target the unit.
Like, just like perennial favorite. Whenever it's seen in any book review, we go on about how good anything that debuffs wound rolls is. And you don't roll anything, you just exist, and that's excellent.
I still think, like, in Age of Sigmar, what you want is sustain and resistance, and then damage in a small footprint. So the longer you stay alive, the more chances you get to roll dice, the more damage you do. So that is just head and shoulders the best one.
And I mean, some of those units heal as well, right? So
yeah,
there's even more of a reason that it's good. I mean, that is the way to balance out the worth of these is how many situations they're good or bad in, and then you know that's it. So that's good when you're ahead, when you're behind, when things are in the balance. It's not optional. There's no probability. That's just absolutely wonderful. If you've got one guy who's a monster on a flank, it's great. If you've got 4 guys and he's in the middle, that's also great. So
I mean, this next, the Thunder Tusk hero only. So it says that you can pick, I think you get 1-on-1. Pick one hero with the Stonehorn or Thunder Tusk. Okay, so you can get one. I think Boulderhead used to get multiple, but
you can get another one for
an enhancement.
An enhancement.
Yeah. So these are just better than the artifacts, so you probably do that. The Thunder Tusk, it's got Flesh Greed. Start of the hero phase, heal D3 wounds. It's okay. But then the next one, 5-up ward. Just a 5-up ward.
Can we do maths? Like, how many wounds does it have? 1 in 3 of those isn't going to be a wound. That's probably better than healing D3 wounds.
Of course it is.
There we go.
Plus it's instant. You don't have to wait for your hero phase to do it. And also you can heal with a heroic action anyway. So, like, you know, there's not... Rime-Frost Hide is the best one. Rockmane Elder is the best one. You've got Matriarch, add 1 to charge rolls for friendly Thunder Tusk units holding within 12. Sure, but we don't care.
That's so. Does that mean that they do more impact hits, or is that a modifier? So they don't.
They don't do more impact hits because it's a modifier.
Okay, so yeah, it's less sexy.
Plus, it's only Thunder Tusk, not Stonehorns. So
yeah,
if it was all everything, then yeah, sure.
I feel that
surprised it doesn't affect Yetis as well. Like, it should be nice to have a Yeti buff on there, because like
that would. No one would cry, would they?
No one would care. You might actually take it, but you wouldn't.
I do think Yetis can be Battleline and they're cheap, so I do think that
I think Yetis are great, but
they're going to come into things a bit more.
Yeah,
the models world.
So let's go through the Mawtribes. So you've got the Meat Fists, which is, I don't know why, I just think of a pizza. The Meat Fist pizza.
Meat pizza. I'm just thinking of the last trophy that I got from one of Alex's events.
It does look a little bit like the Carnage logo, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
With the
Stampede.
Oh my god! It says add 1 to the trampling charge battle trait by friendly Meat Fist Gutbuster units. So that's pretty good, because you're going to do mortals on 5s, not 6s, and then if they got a big unit, going to be done on 4s. So because that's the mortal wound dice, right? So it says each roll. Yeah, so that's good. I like that.
Yeah, it is really good. Is that better for MSU, or is it not? 3 or
you get a +1 if you've got 6 models in the unit. So
it's +1 if you got 3 or greater. Isn't it?
3, yeah. So like 3 units are 6. What they're called, Gutbusters, Gutlords, Gluttons. 3 units are 6 Gluttons. That's, you know, that's pretty good.
It's reliable damage as well, and damaging across different phases is pretty good. Okay, so that's solid.
The Blood Gullet Mawtribe, Heralds of the Gulping God. I love the names in this book. This is so good, so characterful. Friendly Bloodgut Butchers know 1 extra spell. In addition, they can cast 1 extra spell. So a bit more magic.
To the amount of butchers that you have, it's really impactful or not.
Yeah. Underguts improve the rend of missile weapons used by lead belchers and Ironblasters by 1. That's really good, because they actually, Ironblasters are amazing now. So
just to note, none of these affect Battleline at all. It's all on who your general is. I just had a little squirrel at the back of the book.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. Boulderhead. You've got Fearsome Breed. Add 2 to the wounds of Boulderhead, Stonehorn, and Thunder Tusk units. In addition, pick 3 Stonehorn heroes or Thunder Tusk to have 1 different mount traits instead of 1. Just straight up the best one if you're taking monsters. Like,
read no further.
I mean, you could have 3 mount traits. So I mean, immediately you're just going like, yeah, and +2 wounds. It's like great.
So far, I really like that you like. Some people are going to be pretty much down the line with either fat dudes, monstrous infantry, or monsters. Then there's a solid pick for each of them so far, right?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see, I guess. Thunderbelly's Mawtribe, Drift Outflank. Friendly Thunderbelly's Mournfang pack units can run and still charge later in the turn. If you're running the right type of list, that's going to be very good. It's quite narrow though. People who would play that type of list.
I don't think it's as exciting as playing with Stonehorns, but I would
Well,
say
it's
that.
not. You know, if you're going in that direction, it's just like your end destination is obviously going to be the monsters. I feel,
Yeah.
but there's going to be some people out there who want to use models they've already got, or they've taken them for Battleline and they quite like them.
Interesting one. Winterbite.
Yeah.
Mawtribe. Ghosts in the Blizzard. It's like gorillas in the mist, but it's yetis in the blizzard. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made by missile weapons that target friendly Winterbite units wholly within your territory. Again, that's not amazing. In addition, friendly Winterbite Frost Sabers, Icebrow Hunters, and Yetis are not visible to enemy models more than 12 away.
I feel like this entire double spread has been written where you don't have to think about which one you pick. You're like, I'm playing this type of army. It's obviously 1 to 6. I don't have an issue with that. It's not a criticism, but it's quite nice that there's
I'm
one
playing
less
lots of
thing to think about.
Mournfang. I'll take the Thunderbellies.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm playing lots of shooting. I'll take Underguts. I'm taking lots of Gluttons. I'm going to take Meat Fist. So I'm playing the Stonehorn Thunder Tusk list. I'm going to take Boulderhead.
I mean,
I'm taking lots of Yetis, Icebrow Hunters, and Sabers said no one ever. I'm playing Winterbite Mawtribe.
But as something I really, really like. Each of them says the units it affects, not like Ishlayan or some other, copyrightable obscure phrase that will never go into my head. So on my first reading of this book, I understand this page fully, clearly. It's fairly obvious, and it does make a big difference to whatever army I'm going to play. So
is that just because you're more familiar with the ogre models?
No,
and
it's
range?
because it says the names of the models rather than the temple they're from.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So rather than being like,
it does say Underguts as well.
Where's Underguts?
Like it says Underguts Lead Belchers, Underguts Ironblaster. You mean it only affects certain units, right? Okay.
Yeah, it only affects certain units, but it tells me what those units are rather than expecting me to remember what like a Ishlayan.
It's only in Deepkin, isn't it? Because there's certain. Oh, and I suppose in Lumineth as well, right?
Yeah,
and okay, I get your point.
And in Stormcast.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
What's a Thunderstrike? What's a Redeemer? What's a Vindicator, Judicator, Vigiler, Annihilator?
Completely.
Words that start with end in or and are to do with justice and Latin.
And this is why people end up collecting destruction and enjoying destruction. Because stuff like that just makes your life easier.
It's got a big belly. It's fine.
And that too.
Yeah.
Okay then. Match play?
Yeah. Ready for plunder. The grand strategies. Rampaging war gluts. I just love the name. The names are amazing. Glory to the Gulping God. I mean, like, the Gulping God sounds like my kind of god.
That looks something from Game of Thrones, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does actually. We're ready for plunder. If there are more friendly units wholly within enemy territory than enemy units. So if you've stomped all over the face and got in the
that's
backfield.
Kind of, if you're winning, you've won more.
Yeah.
As far as strategies go.
Saga of the Monster Hunter. If an enemy monster was destroyed by wounds caused an attack made by the model picked to be your general, and the model picked to be your general has not been slain.
How many ifs?
2. Too many. On the Moor Path, I love that. When the battle ends, if you completed 4 more battle tactics from below, no.
Ifs.
Depends on what they're like. Enough grub for all.
4 times.
When the battle ends, you complete this if a Great Moor Pot is full and you spend all of the Great Moor Pot's magic at least once during the battle. So I think you drink it, and if you kill something, you refill it. So it's a bit too... Yeah, don't know.
Number 1.
Don't like any of those, really.
Yeah, number 1 is kind of...
Depends on these, right? If there's easy ones here, then eat your fill. If every friendly Ogor unit is eating.
Hard.
Very difficult. Because you're going to charge and
or
kill
bad
it.
play. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you've only got 1 unit left, you might score that one.
Okay, we cannot... Yeah, on the Moor Path is never going to be a thing, having read 2 of these already. Savour the taste. You cannot pick this tactic in the first battle round. You complete this tactic if at the end of your turn, every friendly ogre unit is hungry.
You can do that, though. You can just retreat.
But that's not what you want to do with the army.
Yeah, but you might want to score a victory thing and then get on objectives, because it's not about killing stuff, is it?
Yeah, I guess you have the option, but
I mean,
I
like,
just
it's doable, right?
it's doable, but it's opening yourself up to like you much want to protect yourself by pinning people down with your great big bellies.
But I mean, at
Yeah.
least that's one. If you want to do it, there's no dice involved. You just back out, right?
With every unit.
Or is the timing actually when do you check that you're hungry or you're eating? Is it the start of the movement phase?
Well, it says you complete this tactic at the end of your turn.
Yeah.
So I guess you assess at the end of your turn, even if
Yeah, I
the
just wanted
assessment
to
is
check.
normally
Says
done.
Ravenous Brutes. It's just it doesn't have a timing, so that's fine. Yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, so you could retreat out of combat in your go and then just score it. I mean, I know it's not you're not fighting, but that might be.
I don't feel it's thematic, Russ.
It's not thematic, but it is achievable and it's guaranteed.
It's fully within your control, I guess. Yeah, that's it.
Which is what you want for a battle tactic. So yeah, it's not. I don't think it's a good one, but you know,
No, I think you're gaining something this turn to be pooped on next turn. Avalanche of Flesh is next. We've heard that one before. That's a Nurgle thing.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I think it is. Yeah.
You complete this tactic at the end of the turn if 10 or more mortal wounds were caused by trampling charge battle trait this turn. Ellie controllable.
That's
Probabilities
pretty
involved,
doable,
but
particularly if you've got multiple monsters charged in one turn. I mean, it's a bit risky, but not really that risky.
You do your impacts as they happen as well, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
So if you get lower on these two, you might have a third unit and you're like, actually, I will charge that one to try and get it off. So kind of incrementally controllable. Winter take thee, not take three. Pick one enemy hero or enemy monster. You complete this battle tactic if that enemy unit is destroyed by the grasp of the Everwinter battle trait this turn. That's going to be hard to.
Yeah, because it's not. Is it automatic? I don't think it's automatic, is it?
You only roll for each enemy unit once, don't you? Or do you roll for each of your units?
So you roll for each enemy unit within 3 of any Beastclaw Raider units at the start of the hero phase. You got to roll under the current battle round, or they take D3 mortals. You're only going to do that in a clutch situation where there's one model with one wound in combat with one thing on the last turn, and it's the only thing you've got left. So yeah, no.
If you rolled for each of your things, which the rule would be completely broken then because you could just circle something and automatically kill it.
Let them loose. That's automatic, isn't it? Next one.
You complete this tactic at the end of your turn if you carried out 4 or more monstrous rampages. Yeah. It doesn't say successfully.
No, you just go on a rampage. Cool.
You
just got to be within 3 inches of an enemy unit after the.
So I rolled my 2 up and rolled a 1.
Or not even. Like one could just be stood by a terrain piece and you go, I'm going to try and destroy that one.
Yeah. Okay. But obviously you need to have 4 or more monsters. That one.
Or one with the double once per game double thing.
Yeah, good point. Boil their bones. The final one. Pick one enemy hero or one enemy monster, which is half of them it seems. You complete this tactic if that enemy unit is destroyed within 6 an empty great moor pot in your army.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening.
Yes, no. Okay, so on the moor path is never ever going to be chosen as your grand strategy. Not once. There's a couple in there. You only need a couple of doable ones to add to the already existing ones to make a difference. So, yeah.
I find a lot of the book ones are just like when you're getting into the deep, like there isn't one obvious generic one, and you're like, I need something.
Or if it just lets you use one earlier to save an easy general one for later.
So it's not even bad they're situational because, like, for example, like Boil Their Bones, if there is an enemy hero or monster within 60 or more pot and you think I'm probably going to kill that, that gives you later on, it saves you using a more obvious one for later. So
completely.
You only need 1 or 2, I think, to be competitive. And I think
kind of like the Nurgle ones that are overall poo, but there's 1.5 that sometimes doable.
Save of the Taste can be guaranteed. Avalanche of the Flesh, you're probably going to be wanting to charge and do mores. So you should know that one.
Yeah.
And then Let Them Loose is fairly good as well. Early doors.
Yeah, you got three that are to pick from, which is more than a load of other books. Also, they're not all so stupidly easy that we're complaining about them. So we should probably be realistic. Core battalions next. Are these going to matter? Maybe.
they've actually like, oh, they've actually got an icon for everything. What is this? So you've got Jolbad, which is what, Frostlord. They look like they're all Stonehorns on Morfangs, and you just get Swift. These might actually come into play because, like, if they're not Battleline, then actually a lot of the formations don't have a lot of monsters. Like,
Stonehorn Beast Riders are the ones with the circles, and
yeah,
then there's one with a hunter.
that's
on
the
top,
Huskard, right? Yeah,
Oh
Huskard.
my god, guys, don't represent stuff like this.
I know the models quite well, and even I'm like going, what is that?
Well, it's
So
just the size of
Bad
the
is
key.
the same. Yeah. Torbad, it's too bad. They're Thunder Tusk, right, for the silhouette, and that's Thunder Tusk and Huskard, and then optional, and then you get
They
Magnificent. That might see play.
Torbad is Stonehorn Beast Riders.
No,
Thunder Tusk.
it's
Yes, they are Thunder Tusk.
Thunder Tusk Beast Rider and a Thunder Tusk Huskard. You can tell because the horns aren't coming out the side; they're coming out the bottom.
Yeah.
And then the junk mob, sure, whatever. I mean, I think Torbad might be used because it sounds like Thunder Tusks are good with the mount traits with Priest, depending on what they've done with their Ball of Winter ability. And it means you can, because a lot of the other units just don't fit into formations because you
might not have them. I'm just going to highlight this book. I think I'm going to get a highlighter out after this review, and I'll quarter the amount of information I need to digest.
Yeah. Kragnos, we don't need to talk about him, do we?
He's still Kragnos.
He's still Kragnos.
What are his headlines, though? He's got insane objective capture power, like absolutely insane, being 30, 25, 20, or 18, which is just nuts, especially in addition to what you've got for the rest of the army. He gives everyone within a certain range of him plus 1d6 extra to their charge. And whenever he takes damage, he damages everything around him, everything. So he can be okay for going out solo, or you just accept that if he's taking damage, anyone he's next to is also taking damage.
Yeah, he's a Warmaster. He's got 3-inch reach on his big attack. He's got a 2-up save. He's immune to magic pretty much with his shield in Violet. He's captures loads. He's a Warmaster, I might have mentioned. The extra charge is the big thing. He's 728. He's amazing totem. Amazing. He's also got the keyword Drocra thing, which obviously comes up all the time.
That is sweet vowels to consonants ratio in this
book. I'm sorry for the pronunciation stuff in this book, but I don't know. I can't.
Notably about him as well, he's on a smaller base than people think. Which means that he fits well on your other models with next to your other models with smaller bases than you would think. So brilliant.
Yep. Tyrant. This is your kind of gutbuster general type model. Decent combat profile. I think he gets both of those weapons, right? Yeah, big name. Yeah, take a big name, get 5-up ward, or can be a monster for trampling charge, or has a save of 3 instead of 4, or has a move of 8 instead of 6, or add 1 to the damage if it attacks a monster, or improve the rend of its melee weapons and targets in cover in a garrison. So 5-up ward is pretty much going to be the staple there.
Not at the top, read no further unless you're picking more than one.
He's got the glaive. He takes a hero monster and he rolls a 6. Oh, excuse me. Then he does D6. So D3.
All right. Always sounds better than it is, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. Mortal wounds with the other one. Only one model flees. They fail a battle shock if they're within 3 of him. So
that's forgettable. That's a potentially nice bonus if you are running something like this.
If you're running big undergut units or whatever they're called.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Or a Mournfang for free.
Yeah, would he be near him though? That's the point.
Yeah.
What's his points?
I'll grab that. Move on to the next one.
We've got a Slaughtermaster, Stump Blades.
150. Not bad for that amount of wounds.
It's decent combat profile, like 5 attacks, he's damage free, he's got Rend 2 on the Thunder Mace, 2-inch reach.
Yeah.
He's got a shooting attack. Yeah, pretty good. Slaughtermaster, this is the guy dragging, this is the old Scrag model. As a wizard, gets 1 spell. He's got a cauldron. He can reach into his cauldron and feast. Roll a dice, bad meat, take a wound. 2+, heal D3 wounds to this unit. In addition, heal 1 wound to every Ogre unit within 12. 3 to 4, pick an ogre unit holding within 12, add 1 to wound rolls made by melee weapons. This is Ogor unit, so that's everything, right?
135 points for this guy.
Bone Crusher, roll a dice for each enemy unit within 6 on 2 plus take D3 more. It's a bit random, but if you rolled Spine Marrow and you can give him the spell as well, he'd be quite good in a Beastclaw army. Blood Grawl, roll a dice each time this successfully casts or unbinds a spell. On a 2+ heal a wound allocated. Over on a 1 you take a wound. Rock Chomp is a spell of 5. Pick an Ogre Glutton unit holding within range. D6 on a 4 instead of D3, so on the Gulping Bite battle trait. Yeah, okay, whatever. So too many ifs, but 1 unit if they're in range.
I mean,
end of the
basically
combat
he's
phase.
135 points, which isn't too unreasonable. So,
well, he's a wizard with 7 wounds, good
Yep.
buff. You know, the cauldron's a bit random, but yeah. Oh,
Butcher next.
Yeah. Is he? Oh, he's got a better. He's one spell. He's got the Blood Grawl, and then he's got the Voracious Maw spell on a 7. Pick any unit within range. Take D3 mortal wounds. Roll dice on 1 to 3. It's fine on a 4+. Keep doing D3 mortals. So potentials just wipe something out. So he's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Also 135 points.
Better spell. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, they're both good. I think you're going to take 1 in every army just because you want the ability to get that spell that we talked about. I just can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, or Mystic Shield, which
yeah,
is good.
Arcane Tome might help, but I think you have to be a butcher to use that lore. So it says butcher only, yeah. So if you gave the Arcane Tome to a model, it doesn't get access to that lore. So
yeah, good spot.
It's not wizard, which is interesting. The new model, the Bloodpelt Hunter, who somehow has a shooting attack but has his eyes bandaged up, so that might be a reason for that. He's got a 18-inch shot, 2 shots, 4s, 3s, Ren 1, damage D3, and a spear. This is the same as a hunter, isn't it? 4s, 2s, -2 D6. He's not visible while he's in cover. At the end of your opponent's movement phase, if it's more than 9 from all enemy units, it can make a normal move. If it targets a monster, the damage of his crossbow is 3 and the damage of the spear is 6. I think that's the same as a normal hunter. So
he's the guy that you can buff to make his hit a 2+ with the crossbow. Yeah. It's not a bad profile for his. I think it's 140 points.
Does he do anything for your battle line?
No.
No. Are you going to take him over a normal hunter?
No. I mean, like, one of the main reasons to take the normal hunter is to do some stuff to do with Battleline or kitty cats or yetis, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got a different keyword because he's a gut buster, where the other one's a Beastclaw Raider, the Icebrow Hunter. Oh, he does have a slightly different shooting profile. It's worse, but yeah.
Can't see him coming up too much.
No.
Yeah.
Unless you really like that model, but yeah.
Moving on. Weapons.
Paired Ogre Club or Blunt Blades. Ogre Club or a Blunt Blade. Okay. So they either have one or the other, right? If it's armed with Iron Fist. Oh, okay. So it's club and Iron Fist, or it's double club thing, basically, or blades.
And you're gonna Iron Fist just do the bouncing back of a mortal wound as well. They don't improve your save.
And you lose an attack, so
doesn't feel worth it.
No. -1 to wound for missile weapons if you've got a tribal banner with Lookout Noblar. +1 bravery if you've got a skull banner.
Yep.
And then 1 in 6 add 1 to charge rolls if it's got a bellower. So
yeah, I mean you're going to get your bravery boosted if you're in combat anyway because of the book's core rules. So
the big thing here is they hit on 3s, not 4s.
Yeah, that's a big change.
Like that's damage 2, and they've got a rend on there as well. So 4 attacks a model, 3s, Ren 1, damage 2. That's not rubbish. Mortals
No,
on the
and
charge. Yeah, they're bravery 6, so you know that might be a problem. But they come as 6s for 295. Is that right?
I was just going to ask. Button 6 is 265.
265. So
Yeah.
yeah,
How many wounds is that? 30,
6 times 4, 24.
24. That's all right.
Yeah.
That's actually like that's a pretty high quality of wounds given their move, their reach, their rend, their damage. For that, good battle line.
Yeah, decent. Iron Guts. I always used to love these guys. And again, they've got the 1 in every 4 can be a bellower, which is strange. Are they come as 3s or do they come as a 4?
They're unit size 4 for 270, and they're
okay.
battle line if you're General's Gutbusters.
Oh yeah, they come as a 4-pack, don't they? Yeah. So mighty bashing weapon, 2-inch reach, 3 attacks, freeze, rend, 2 damage free. Down to the Iron Guts. Once per battle in the combat phase, after it's fought for the first time, you can say they can unleash their ferocity. It can fight for a second time, but the strike last.
That's good.
It's good if you've made them strike last with your rampage from the Thunder Tusk, because you can go twice before they get to swing, basically.
Yeah, that's really good.
Gut Guard. Before you allocate a wound or mortal wound to a tyrant, you can bounce the wound so they can like protect your hero.
3+, yeah.
Pretty good.
And it's a very reliable profile, isn't it? It's basically a troll. Like, you're going to turn up and reliably do what you're setting out to do as long as you didn't die.
Got some man-eaters. Slices and bashes. 2-inch reach, 4 attacks, freeze, rend 1, damage 2. 4 wounds, 5 up save. Basically, you get to pick an ability. Add +1 to wound rolls, plus extra range, run and charge, and don't take battle shock. They're elite, and they got a barrel of meat, jobs done. The command can only be issued by your general, must be received by this unit. Until the end of the turn, each model counts as free for contested objectives. Pretty underwhelming. Don't really see a man-eater army.
For 170, it feels like they should have 1 more pip on their save, doesn't it?
Yeah, or they should do
Right?
more damage.
Like, what? There's a important +1 to something somewhere that, like, I just don't see why you would take them over the other guys.
No,
Not unique enough.
No.
Gorgeous.
Yep. 6 wounds with a 6 up save. They get to ambush still. Yeah, 9 away, points. That kind of stuff. That's why you'll take it. Gruesome Devourers. If this unit is part of an Ogor Mawtribes army and is eating, enemy units within 9 cannot receive inspiring or rally.
Pretty good, actually. Obviously fragile. You'll have to play for that, but sometimes you're going to have about that many points left and not want to put a spell in or something.
Not sure they're like 90 points, did you say?
Yeah, 90.
Yeah. I mean, if you tag one
80,
in,
sorry.
Like 80 points, you tag one in on a charge, and it's got an ambush mechanic, so your opponent might be like, oh, I won't, you know...
affect their deployment with something like that.
9-inch away anywhere on the table. It's not from a table edge, which it used to be. Pretty good. I mean, like, it's pretty scary. It's got 4 attacks. I know they've got no rend, but they're 2 damage, and, like, that
it's
debuff.
Enough to run at a wizard and make them think about it, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Beastman players will shit a brick with that. A little bit, because like, you know, that's enough to be scary if it just gets in amongst your army, and it has to be eating. So, but if you charge something and you're still within range, then you know.
Yeah.
They're belchers.
Yeah. Just gonna say about the Gorger, that pairs up nicely with a Stonehorn that's gone 40 inches in a turn as well, right?
Yeah.
They could just be bros. Be fine. One started from the back, one started from the front, and they ended up holding hands at the back.
You've got lead belchers, 18-inch range gun, D3 shots, 4 freeze, rend 1, damage 1. 2 attacks in combat. If the unit remains stationary when it shoots, you get 2 D3 instead of D3 shots.
Reliable amount of shots.
Yeah.
4 of them for 170. For a shooting unit, probably about right.
It's okay. You can't get the double shots on Unleash Howl though, because it says in your shooting phase. So
yeah,
I'm not sure. D3, it's a bit random in it. If you rolled like, if you got what, 3 of them in a unit or 4 of them.
4.
So what, you're like between like 7 and 8 shots. Like, yeah, don't see it.
I could see having a unit of them because you've got.
Not when you got
presumably
Ironblasters. You just take
Okay,
Ironblasters.
I guess we'll look at the next scroll. They've got more capture power, but there are things that buff Rhinoxes actually, aren't there? Somewhere in the book as well. Let's see this scroll then.
9 wounds, 4 up save. It's got a 30-inch range cannonball, 2 shots, 4s, 2s, Ren 2 damage D3 plus 3.
What is that profile?
Or you can do a grape shot, 10 attacks, freeze, Ren 1 damage 2, range of 12.
You're going to put all-out attack on this, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Every time you shoot.
Add 1 to the damage with its sharp horns if it charged, and sharp horns, 2 attacks, 4s, freeze, Ren 1 damage D3. You've got 3 attacks at damage 2. It's a Rhinox, so you can give it that buff if you're playing the what's the shrapnel, whatever it's called, scrap heads. I don't know, can't remember the name, but you get extra rend on your shooting. So
yeah, quite a big deal.
These guys are quite cheap, right?
170.
Yeah, I mean,
it's still like
9 wounds with 4 up save as well.
Still gonna, if you get into combat with it, it's not awful either.
No.
And then you get to blast something to the face that you're 1 inch away from as well.
Standard shoot is pretty scary, right?
Yeah, it is.
But even if you move and you shoot 10 shots, 2s, 3s, Ren 1 damage 2 each, and if you're in that tribe, it's Ren 2.
Are these good enough that if you've got 2 of these, you would consider being in that tribe just for those 2 units? Do you think?
Just double check that tribe. Underguts, Lead Belchers, Undergut, Ironblaster. Yeah. So, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But I think you take 4, right?
That is a list.
4 with
a good list.
I mean, that's what, not that many points, right? It's 170.
Yeah. So
do some math.
700-ish. 680.
680.
That's less than I thought it would be. Yeah.
I mean, like that, and then you take your. I'm sure you could take 2 or 3 of them in every list, because it gives you a range shot. You don't have it normally.
No, that's what I was going to say about Lead Belchers. Like, sometimes you're willing to pay for something that doesn't seem great because you don't have it elsewhere. And
you're not taking a unit of Lead Belchers over an Ironblaster.
Well, no, it's got 2 shot profiles. It moves slightly faster. It's got a better save, and it's got only 3 less wounds. I think that's a fine exchange.
But you want it to do damage at range. It's got a longer threat as well, because it's got effectively 37-inch range.
More 39 because it's gonna get 2 to its move.
Oh yeah, good shout.
Yeah, it's good.
Really good.
Maybe it's a bit good for that.
Bit good.
Maybe that should be like 2.
Get on eBay, boys.
Points.
They'll be out of stock everywhere. Just saying. Get your more pots while they're going hot.
So just said range is really good. So this is why you're going to take a Noblar Scrap Launcher over an Ironblaster, right?
No.
Because this has always been the
pass. I don't even know. I don't even care. Like, people would be like, "Oh, I love Noblars." No,
it's 145. It's not going to be worth reading in comparison to the other one. Pick a friendly Noblars unit. Add 1 to something. The attack's characteristic of piles of old scrap is equal to the number of models in the target unit to a maximum of 20. So you could have 20 4s and 3s, rend 1, damage 1 shots.
Or I could just have 10 shots at freeze, rend 1, damage 2.
Not at 36 inches range.
No, but
yeah, not dreadful. But I don't think
it's got a minimum range as well, though.
It has, yeah. You're not going to be considering this over the Ironblasters.
And also, if you've ever built one, you don't ever want to build one. So
okay.
Noblars
next. They still exist.
Great.
They are 100 points for 20 models, which is, that might just be a thing that you want in your army if you want to build those models.
I mean, they might have 1 unit, because it says every time an enemy unit finishes a move within 6 of any units with this ability, roll dice on a 4+ to take D3 mortals.
20 wounds for that many points. They are as crap as you would expect for that point, but
you might want to screen.
Yeah, it's not an awful thing to pay for, and a 20 screen is pretty effective as well for 100 points, especially.
Moving on.
New model.
It's the Underworld Warband. So
Yep.
you Black Powder's Buccaneers. He's got minions, I think. So it says, yeah, he's got like loads of things. Legendary looter. I don't even want to go through all this, but start of the combat phase, pick one enemy hero, artifact to power within 3, roll 2d6, add 2 to the roll if cages not been removed, add 1 to the roll for each other minion, blah blah blah. On a 12, they cannot use the artifact. Yeah, okay, fine. Whatever. Too many words.
Welcome to thematic rules from a different gaming system in a large-scale gaming system. Hragthorn Mantrapper and his Mantrappers.
He was very popular in a lot of lists. I don't know if he's still got the same ability.
185 points for one of him and 3 of them. Seems like an alright amount for that amount of wounds. Ambushing Reserve.
Yeah. First time it's set up on the battlefield, you must summon 1 Frost Saber unit because there's a 1 model to the battlefield, add it to your army. So he does give you a free Frost Saber, but the Mantrappers are the thing, right? Start of the first hero phase. If this unit's in your army, pick 1 terrain or objective. Say it's trapped. Place the trap miniature next to it. The first time a unit finishes a move in 1, remove the trap, and on 2+, they take a number of mortal wounds equal to the roll.
It seems just like a fairly pointed, being 185 flexible unit that gives you a kitty cat that lands with it and can ambush.
Mm-hmm. He is an Icebrow Hunter, right? So does he unlock the Battleline Frost Sabers?
Frost Sabers, Battleline if general is Icebrow Hunter. Yeah, but then again, if you're making him as a unique your general, you're forgetting the opportunity to have a trait on him, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's not a bad model.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right.
Should we get into the meat and the potatoes now?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm sorry for people who are like the normal ogres, but I'm all about the big grumple tusks.
If you've played with them, you know it's a really good medieval army to play with.
So Frostlord and Stonehorn, 15 wounds, 3 up armor save, 5 up ward save. Add 1 to charge rolls for Beast Called Radiant Solid within 12. Add 1 to the damage made by its rock hard horns and crushing hooves. Frost Spear, if a modified wound roll for an attack made by the Frost Spear is a hero monster, is a 6. Subtract 1 for the attacks of that unit's melee weapons. Oh, that's quite nice actually. Because it's like if you charged another monster, it's that coming back damage. It's actually like a defensive thing. Frost Spears, 4 attacks, freeze, rend 1 damage free. Not much rend on that. Punches and kicks, whatevs. Rock hard horn, 6 attacks, 4s, freeze, rend 2 damage free. But he gets +1 if he's charged. And it's hooves. So it's basically the same, right? If the wounds changed and the save changed? I can't remember.
No, save is the same. Think the wounds are the same or like 1 off. 400.
Did it always have a 5 up ward? Is that the current one? I remember it used to have like a half damage thing, but that was the original one.
I think it did have a 5 up ward. It was adjusted from the kind of slightly janky. If things are 1 damage, then do a something, half it. 1. 4, 4, 5 points.
So basically it's the same, right? There's not much change on there. I can't see any different. I think the Frost Spear's the new thing on there. Don't need to reinvent the wheel. They're still good, right?
Still super solid.
Huskard on Stonehorn.
Sorry, does he have run and charge?
No, they didn't have it in the last one.
Okay then.
No, that went a long time ago. Used to have it originally.
Yep.
The Huskard again. It's the same. The beast is exactly the same.
1 less save. Important.
Yeah. You get a harpoon launcher, a chain trap, or a Volker, right? Let's say blood vulture. Again, that's the mortal wound on a 2 up. If you do a chain trap on an enemy monster, if it's not destroyed, is not already snagged, then on a 4+, the unit's snagged. while it's snagged, it times it makes a move, finishes a move, must go closer to the unit. So it's almost like you trap it and it has got to come close to you, which I don't know how good that is. It's a bit techy.
It is for 45 points less though. Like given the other guy's got more wounds and more save,
he's a priest though.
It's nice that there's other things in here to make you consider the decision for sure.
He's got a heal prayer, and he's also got another prayer, which is pick a beast claw raid unit wholly within range, invisible. Add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made by melee weapons. So very good. Like,
yes,
but being a priest is just great, right? So
yeah, absolutely. 400 points.
Yeah, pretty cheap actually for what they are.
Yeah, each of them does a lot, and their wounds count as 1/3 more because they got 5 upward, and you can give them really good traits and a couple of really good items. So
yeah, Frost Order and Thunder Tusk. So got the spear. You got the tusks, which are 4 attacks, freeze 2s, rend 1, damage D3. So pretty lackluster beast attacks. You still got the bellowing voice and the blast of frost reefed ice. Do not lose the attack sequence. Pick an enemy unit with 18. Roll a number of dice equal to the value shown on his damage table, which starts at 12. Add 1 if the target unit has 10 to 19 models. Add 2 if it has 20 or more models for each 6 they take a mortal wound. Wow, that just wrecks infantry, right?
it would. Imagine having 3 of these against the right army.
12 dice for every 4 up is a mortal against big units of infantry.
You just yeah, that would be very good against some armies.
Still got the -1 to hit. I mean, it's a bit, I don't know, like
400 points for this guy.
12 dice needing 6s to do mortal wounds to a single thing. It's like getting to 2 mortals. It's a bit.
I mean, that would. It's if you got a few of these, that's enough to worry a small wizard, which might be good. And the range on it is their movement plus their range, so is actually, quite a long way.
Yeah, I just don't know how many big blob of infantry you see. Like, how many units do you see above 20 models? Like,
no, but with the other stuff in the army, it might be about pulling out a key character or something over that, right?
you're not just gonna take Ironblasters. Sorry, just go back to
yeah.
that.
Well, I mean, that's like 170 is a lot less than 400 by a long way. How cheap is he as a Huskard? He is 330. That's sounding quite low.
Yeah, he's a priest. Again, got the same prayers, same rules. Basically, it's just on a different mount. So,
well, you gain a blood vulture as well, and I quite like blood vultures.
Yeah, unless you give him the harpoon launcher or the chain trap. So
yeah, what would you go for?
Probably the vulture,
right?
Just because you do mortal wound, it's like you don't have to roll a hit. Really, it's just like
it's not got a range.
Don't need line of sight.
Yeah, you can do it when you run.
Yeah, could do it in combat against something you're not in combat with. It's just a lot better.
Yeah.
Plus it looks cool.
It does look cool. 330, like that's a big drop.
I think you might take the Huskard for the priest, but I don't think you're going to take the Frost Lord on that. You're going to take on a Stonehorn.
Yes, agreed.
Stonehorn Beast Riders. Basically, it's a Stonehorn with 2 ogres on the back. So, still got the 5 up ward, 4 up armor save. Yeah, they're battle line. I think if you're
310. Yeah, if the general is Beastclaw Raiders.
Yeah,
which probably isn't going to be a struggle.
It's quite nice because you could have the Hunter General and then they become battle line, and so do the Frost Sabers. So, but I just don't know if you're paying for those. You might try and upgrade to get the hero version because at least you can put artifacts and stuff on them.
Priest. I know. Yes, well, yeah, potentially plus priest.
Yeah, and then the Thunder Tusk Beast Riders, same. They're just 2 ogres on the Thunder Tusk, so there's not much difference in the rules. They do the same thing.
They're cheaper as well. 270. It's quite a lot less.
Yeah, and they don't take up monster slots, right? Behemoths if they're
battle line.
So you could have a few of them. Like I mean, against some armies, that Frost Revice would actually be horrific.
I think the more instances of like long range, let's call it long range, it's not short, damage you have that can reach out and poke stuff, the more instances that you have of it in an army, the better it goes up in value because you're more likely to be able to get that final shot to kill something or to not over allocate or whatever. So even if you're like, I really don't like that 4 wounds left on a model, you know, like 25 inches over that way that I can walk and shoot at, you can chuck a Blood Vulture at it, you can do your 12 dice on 6s, maybe 2 or 3 times and wipe it out. It's not awful against other armies, and it's very good against the right armies.
Yeah, I mean, if you had 3 of those for 270, or like, you know, that's not even 1,000 points to your army, and that's your free battle line, right?
Yeah. Well, you might have like 2 of them and some Yetis or something like that.
And they still do the impact hits on the charge, and they've got the shooting, and then you could basically go. We'd probably take 3 of those, 2 Ironblasters, and then take like
you've got good monsters, rampages as well, right?
Some heroes, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be debuffing stuff. They're cheap enough to open up lists quite a lot, I feel. A Spell Hunter and a hero appearing.
Yeah, randomly.
And his kitty cat.
I don't think he's really changed. He's got the breath, he's got the ambush, you know.
Yeah, so Frost Saber's a battle line if he is your general. He is 120 points, which is not many points. And he can ambush.
Yep. Got some shooting. He's got the lead the scowl, use a command ability to start the charge phase. Frost Sabers would get the rule end of the phase when they charge. You can change one of the dice to a 4+ to a 4, basically. So they're more likely to charge from ambush, but
I quite like that. It's a nice little addition.
Yeah, but like, you know,
he's a bit niche, isn't he?
Yeah, and Frost, you just want cheap battle line. You do this, right? Because how many points are Frost Sabers?
I think they were 80 for 2.
Yeah,
80 for 2.
So you get cheap battle line if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, if your general is a Thunder Tusk, you can get Yetis, 3 of them for 120 as battle line. As well, and they're not bad. Hopefully, they used to have like a use.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I'm not sold.
No, one thing that.
Yep. So you've got the Ironlock pistol, which I think is just the champion. Yeah, and then 6 wounds, 4 up save. These changed at all. Hitting on 3s with the hackers, 4s with the 4s with the hackers, 3s with the cutting clubs and hackers. Line breakers, that's new. Subtract 1 from wound rolls for attacks made by missile weapons at target unit. In addition, if the unit is targeted by attacks made by enemy unit that received the Unleash Hell command, those attacks only wound on a 6. That's quite good.
And cute, isn't it?
It's a cute rule, yeah. 6 up bounce.
Your battle line if your general is Beast Caller Raiders.
Yeah. Damage 2 on the Tusk standard for the beasts, which I think they used to be damage 1, I think.
These are like a very good option against like just average quality other stuff.
Yeah,
right? It's a lot of slightly above average quality attacks.
They're a good unit to charge to take the Unleash Hell, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Nice to just have a 2 as an option for that, and they're not slow, but movement 9.
I've just thought about something. Right. You can actually like charge a Stonehorn into a missile unit without being unleashed on. Because you charge something that's not within 6, right?
Yep.
Then you use your rampage to do a 3d6 move and go within 3 of the missile unit. You've not finished a charged move, but you're in combat with it.
Yeah.
So you could use that monstrous rampage to bypass Unleash Hell.
That's pretty good.
It's really strong.
Against some armies, that's going to be devastating.
Especially as you can you play like Lumineth and you just straight into the back Sentinel unit. Like, and they can't even shoot you.
Be grim, wouldn't it?
Man, Stonehorns.
There are other units in this.
No, there aren't. You're doing it wrong.
Ironblasters.
Yeah, there's Ironblasters. Yeah, Mornfang, how many points are they?
Not bad. I think they're 175.
Okay.
So 175 points for 12 high quality fast moves with some good abilities and fairly solid attacks.
Yeah, they're all right. I mean,
Yeah,
I know like, they don't seem like there's much different to what they were. Like I played Beast Claw, they all seem very similar to what they used to be.
yeah.
The Beast Claw stuff doesn't seem like it's had much
I don't
done
think it
to it.
was. There wasn't much wrong with it.
No,
There wasn't too much to fix, was
no, there
there? So as long
wasn't.
as the
No.
points were all right. Yeti's next, and he's gonna be amazing. They have a ward save of a 6+ to go with their armor save of a 6+.
Woohoo! Where's their
they
-1 to hit gone?
It has gone.
It's the
They
ward
can,
instead of the poopy.
yeah, they can still fight in the combat phase if they're within 6, and they can pile an extra 3-inch pile in.
Yay!
So cool, we get to run and do it, and tag and do some interesting stuff. Can be Battleline, of course, as we've mentioned. They can run and still charge later in the turn if they are wholly within 15 of a friendly Thunder Tusk when it attempts to charge, if the unit is within 15 inches of Thunder Tusk. So they're an alright, cheap, flexible-ish, completely unresilient unit. Don't see that 6 up board and get excited.
Nah. Just I don't know.
You might
Just don't.
You might only have that amount of points left for a battle line,
Maybe.
right? And then you just got one unit of them in, and they have.
I'd rather probably
okay
have ambushing dogs, but you know that's.
Firebelly next. So
that's such a weird place to have the firebelly, like
I know,
just right at the back.
Well,
Like
I mean,
still teasing
weird.
there might actually be a firebelly in like group coming to ogres at some point.
Maybe they should just do a warband or something. That'd be really cool, wouldn't it? With one as a leader.
Just need like a unit, like a unit of like fire spewing ogres. That'd be cool.
Yeah, just like Lead Belcher profile, but it's fiery somehow.
Yeah.
Flamers of guts. So we've already covered his points. He is 7 wounds, 5 up save, is a wizard, 1 spell. He's got fire breath, missile weapon, range of 8, 2s, 3s, no rend, damage 1, and its attacks characteristic is equal to the number of models in the target unit to a maximum of 10. Not models within the unit within his range that is short, but if you can dink the corner of a unit 8 inches away and that's got 20 models in, you'll be capped at your 10 attacks. No rend, but you know, it's all right. 2 attacks, 3s, rend 1 damage, D3 in melee. Cascading fire click. Casting value of 5 and a range of 3. Roll a dice for each enemy unit within range on a 4+ D3 mortal wounds. In addition, if successfully cast, this unit has a ward save of 5+ until the start of your next hero phase. Quite cool.
Yeah.
Dink 2 units on a 4+, and you get a ward. And you can do it if you're not within range of anyone and get a ward. If you don't want to cast Mystic Shield instead, which you probably do. But he's just kind of okay.
Yeah. Then your Great Maw Pot. So it's impassable. You set it up after territories. +1 to cast, unbind, and dispel for Ogre Wizards within 1. So
that's
nice.
the important bit, right? Yeah.
It's either full or empty. In your hero phase, 1 Ogre hero within 6 can spend all of its magic. You can heal D3 wounds allocated to each friendly Ogre unit wholly within 36. Once all the Great Maw Pot's magic has been spent, it is empty. If models stay within 6, it becomes full. So
simple profile.
Yeah, so that's it. I personally, I think there is winners and losers. So we sum up a little bit. I don't think you're gonna see Frost Lords on Stonehorns.
You're always going to see them, whether they were good or not, right?
You might see the Huskard on Thundertusk for the Priest unlock and the 5-up ward mount trait. I still don't think you're going to see a lot of the normal Ogres.
Unless that's someone's thing, I just don't think it's where you would start with the army, at least, because you can have 5 models instead or something. Right?
You might take a unit of, like, one big unit of Gluttons, even in a Beastclaw Raider army. But I definitely think you're going to try and put a Butcher in and with the Maw Pot. And then probably the Frostlord on Stonehorn, maybe a Huskard on Thundertusk. Fill out your battle line with whatever. You might take an Ambushing Hunter. But I don't know, like, I just don't think there's been a lot. I mean, the obvious thing is Ironblasters are suddenly going to be in every list. Like, that's the one thing.
It's one model as well, right? You can buy it once or you can buy it twice. You can add it to your army for replacement of one large monster if you were taking the monster list.
Done.
They're powerful.
Very good. I mean,
Yeah.
I would take probably 2 Iron Blasters. That's what, 340 points. That's cheaper than that's basically the same points as a Huskard on a Thunder Tusk. So it's like, is it going to do more? Yes, I imagine so. So I would take probably 1 Huskard on Thunder Tusk, Frostlord on Stonehorn, 2 Iron Blasters, a Butcher, and then fill out with whatever you want with the rest.
Yeah.
Like, you
A
might
couple
take
of
1 unit of
warbands, one of which
Gluttons.
isn't. Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I mean, you'd be equally within your rights to take Mournfang, or just take more beasts, and then stick yourself in whichever tribe. But I think the extra Rend tribe will be popular, and I can't really see past taking like multiple Iron Blasters, honestly.
Yeah, they're not bad, are they?
With the combination of the Stonehorn charge and the impact hits, it's like the two together, because it still does impacts as well, right? So
Well, with anything else in the army where you have shooting from other sources or range damage at other sources, they're going to stack up quite well with. So let's say you started with the Iron Blasters. Any other shots you put in the army that is an all right range or flexible or an ambushing unit or something like that, each of those goes slightly up in value. Yeah, pretty solid addition, I think. I mean, the books, I really like this book. I wish that the artifacts were slightly more open, because I feel that I will literally just go through and highlight the ones that I need to bother about and never read the others. But I like how temples work, whatever they're called. Like, they're fairly clear. It's a very digestible book. Digestible. Yeah.
I feel a bit underwhelmed by it. I don't know
Really?
whether that's just, I don't know why. I think maybe because maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing that I'm not going, oh, this is good, and you do this combo and this would be really broken.
Fairly runs your army, right? You put it on the table, you've made a plan, you will try and execute that plan.
Does what it says on the tin, if people don't
Yeah,
know
it does.
the reference. Yeah, I mean, it's not, I wouldn't say it's particularly sexy.
I don't think it ever has been. Like, apart from stuff that was bent and needed fixing, like when you could take metal crunch multiple times or whatever. I don't even know if that even came in the book or came in FAQ or a White Dwarf update or something like that. But the destruction books tend to do, like a cabbage works like a cabbage does. A Frosthorn's definitely still working like a Frosthorn does. An Iron Blaster is working more like you would imagine an Iron Blaster did.
Yeah, it actually seems worthwhile now, which is good.
It does. Maybe the points will rise at some point in the future, because it seems D3+3 is a dangerous profile to have for damage. That is so much better than D6. It's unbelievably better than D6. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you could take, just roughly with the maths, you could take like 6 Gluttons, Frostlord on Stonehorn, Huskard on Stonehorn, Huskard, sorry, on Thunder Tusk.
Yeah.
2 Iron Blasters, a Butcher, and you still got like loads of points left.
Well, you're gonna have like
500-600 points left.
Yeah, 1 Battleline monster, 2 Battleline monsters, unit of Mournfang, unit something else, a couple more wizards, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's Kragnos as well, and he takes up a large amount of points and is an absolutely viable option.
Yeah. I still think you're going to see a Frostlord on Stonehorn pretty much in every list, because he does something nothing else does, right? He's a bit like the Maw Crusher.
Yeah. Allies a Gloom Spike gets, which is not hugely anything to write home about unless you want like a cheap wizard or.
Well, only Troggoth units though.
Troggoth units and Ale.
Gargants, so you can't put like normal Grots in, or wizards or anything. So, and
I don't see why you would.
You can't put in the Auric Warclan Troggoth units, which is the hit
buff
guy.
Yeah, makes sense.
I
don't know. I like it. I wish more books were like this, because I think it makes the game more approachable.
No, I get it. I think the artifacts and command traits are pretty understated. The formations aren't particularly amazing. They don't have like really good battle traits. They're all solid. They're all okay. The units pretty much do what you expect them to do. They haven't reinvented anything massively. I don't know. Maybe people who've played more with Ogres will disagree or think that the glutton type list, the non Beastclaw Raider type army is more viable. I think probably it is just because the Ironblaster gives you the reach out and touch damage that you didn't have. But
Currently, they can fight in multiple ranks and stuff as well, can't they?
yeah, and I think that's the big thing. Like Galatian Veterans, it would have been nice just to see that on the war scroll, because then if Galatian Veterans goes away, that still makes them viable. So I think, or maybe just give them the 2-inch reach as standard, like, because I think buying 6 gluttons and having to stay in formation and not being able to fight in 2 ranks would be there'd be a real waste of time taking. But at the moment, they're quite good. Whether that stays, I don't know. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. I think it's a bit lackluster. I don't know. I just don't know if it's going to be as good as a more Crusher Alpha Strike army, as honed for a damage output army, or as good as a techie damage army. It's kind of sits somewhere in the middle, which is fine.
Yeah.
But is it good enough to be competitive?
I don't think it's going to reinvigorate its presence in the scene to a huge extent, right?
No.
This isn't going to be the Nurgle book drop and suddenly there's Nurgle everywhere. And
No.
there's 9 out of 60 armies in Nurgle.
I definitely think you'll see an uptake. You'll see a bigger
Yeah.
uptake because people have them like the models. They're a popular force.
Yeah, you'll see a little resurgence. It's convenient army to redo as well.
Doesn't make me excited to play with mine, but then I wasn't particularly excited about the last book. So
But yeah, they've not dramatically changed it, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
No, it's not. And you know, does it make the army better or worse? I don't know. Let us know what you think below. Anyway, that's our book review for the Ogor Mawtribes.
I think it's quite there's a small but dedicated crowd for Ogors, quite a lot like Skaven, I would say. It's a really good range of models as well, which often attracts like, you know, diehard perennial fans. So anyone who does have opinions either way, let us know. Is there a particular list you're excited about? Do you think, like, have they just really changed in matchups because of Ironblasters or something like that? Would you never take a Frostlord Frostlord on a Thunder Tusk? Because I'm not sure if you would ever see one. Yeah, let us know.
Yep. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you all in the next one. So Slaves to Darkness review should also be up, so you can go check that out if you've not seen that one or if you're watching this one first. And then, yeah, just let us know what you think in the comments below, and we'll catch you again soon.
This guy, see you in a bit.
Bye.